Hello, this is Marty Krall. I'm the music department chair at Ashland High School and also one of their tech coaches. In today's video, we're going to learn how I created my virtual band. This is part one, where we'll discuss how to enter all that information into a single audio file using GarageBand. If you want to learn how we put all this into video format, check out part two. So what I did was I had all the students record their videos at an exact BPM. So in this case, it was set at 120 beats per minute, and had all the kids put that in a metronome into an earbud into their ear so that only they could hear the click and they were following along to the click. And then they sent me a video, and I asked them preferably to have it landscape viewed instead of portrait. But so I saved all those, and so here's one, for instance, one of my trumpeters. If you drag this and drop it into GarageBand, just like we've done everything else, it's going to import it and import the video. Now it's important to note, GarageBand is not meant for editing video. You can do a little bit of that there, but it'll let you import a single video. So if I click this to get rid of that, you can see I have his audio and his video. So if I hit play and I open up this view again, alright, so he's recording Hang On Sloopy. So what I do is I will save just the audio. I'll go up here to share, and I will export this to a disk, which is just going to be my desktop, and I'm going to call it whatever I want to call it. I'm going to call that, First Trumpet, Hang On Sloopy, and I'm going to save it as an MP3. And that's just an audio file. So when I do that, it essentially rips the video out and just saves the audio. So next time I drag and drop that file into here, it's just audio, and I've got no video to deal with. So I do that for the dozen or so students that sent me videos. I have a couple that don't want to do the video portion but want to do the audio, so I've already got that set as audio. So I'm going to click in one of my virtual files, and you'll see what happens after I've added all those things. Okay, so what I did was open up a file, and I've grabbed and dropped a bunch of the Hang On Sloopy MP3s that I showed you how to save those, and wherever you save them, you can drag and drop them right into GarageBand. Now, if I were to hit play right now, it's going to sound miserable. Alright, you get the idea. Because even if they've all recorded at the right tempo, that doesn't mean they all hit the record button at the same time. So what you really have to do is decide what you want to start with. I typically start with percussion and low brass. So I've only imported 5 things here, but obviously my snare drum is going to start at the beginning, and then on Hang On Sloopy, the low brass comes in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mute the rest of these, or I'm going to solo what I'm listening to. And by solo, I mean click this little headphone button, and that means solo. That means I am only hearing this one because it's a solo. The rest have been muted. So as you can see, I've muted everything without having to go up and click them individually. Okay, so if I do that and then I solo this baritone, I can find out when I want that baritone to sound. Not bad. This, I think, actually needs to go a little bit sooner. So I'm going to select that on my tape head, and I'm going to Command T. We've talked about how to trim that, and I'm going to highlight it and get rid of it. Now I have the space to move this back and forth. So I'm pretty close. And it's a little bit of trial and error, and I'll just keep scooting until it sounds right. So you can see by following that sort of trial and error, you're going to get to adjust all the rest of these into the right spot. So, my trumpet, my saxophone, they probably need to be in the same spot. as the flute as well. So if I line these up, I might have a good guess as to when those are supposed to come in, but I still am going to have to do a little bit of a trial and error. And then remember, this little toolbar over here, this little slider, you can zoom in really tight and really do some fine adjusting on that. So as you may imagine, this is a little tedious. This will take you a little bit of time. And this is only if your recordings are all with a perfect steady beat. If you have somebody who drops a beat or adds a measure where it shouldn't be, I will tell you, you'll have to listen to each one. So you'll have to listen to the entire song with just the drum and see how that feels. And then the entire song with just the drum and some low brass and see if that makes sense the whole way through. And if that lines up, then you know those are set. Then add a trumpet to the mix. Then add, so I usually just drop these in score order. If I drop them in and they're in a different order, all I got to do is grab this and I can move it. And now I'm moving the order of my tracks, and that's fine. If I want to rename them, I just double click the name and I can type in something else. So that's just a way of keeping track of what you're doing. A little copy and paste and a little adjust and you're all set. And then when you're done, you put those earbuds in, those headphones on, and you adjust the volumes to make sure you have a balanced sounding group. And then the final thing I do on top of that is, let's say my group sounds balanced, but I need another lead trumpet or I need another tuba player or something. You can import this whole track again, or you can duplicate the track. I can go up here to Edit, and I can insert a new track. Onto Track. I can click in New Track with Duplicate Settings. So after I've got everything I like in that one, I can click that. Now the settings are the same as the one that was highlighted before. I can name it whatever I want, and then I can click this. I'll Control Copy, and then if I line up my tape head just right to the beginning of that, select this track, and then Control V for paste. I've just duplicated this entire track. So now this may sound like a strange thing to do, to add a second trumpet track or another tuba track or something. Why not just make this volume more? But you will have a different sound if you have the same thing a couple times. Plus you can start to pan things left and right and get a real full band sound that way. So there's your tricks on how to do things in GarageBand. Hopefully you can take some of those back with you and use them in your classroom.